Hey guys, a lot of you have been asking about how my progress has been since my last video about posting about the C. diff and all the other infections. And a lot of you have been curious about exactly what I'm doing. And I know I posted in some comments on the Heal Your Facebook or Heal Your Gut Guy group inside of Facebook what I was doing, but I wanted to just make this video and share with you what I'm doing. It seems to be working exceptionally well. I'm still by no means out of the woods, but not going through crazy die-off and not dying in the process like I was expecting I would from all these crazy infections. So I want to just kind of go right through the protocol of what it is that I'm doing and why I'm using those particular supplements, what they're doing for me, and why I think they're helpful. If it's helpful for you, fantastic. Obviously, I don't know if I need this disclaimer. I'm not a doctor. This is just what I'm doing. I'm not recommending you do this. Just what's been working for me. So I started off with just doing 5 drops of wild oil of oregano once a day. And that was just to make sure I didn't have any crazy die-off because of how many. There's 13 different infections, one of them being C. diff in my gut. So I wanted to start off super slow, and after 2 days, I didn't really notice anything. So then we also added in a teaspoon of, this is colloidal silver. Colloidal silver does all kinds of stuff. It literally kills like every bacteria it comes into contact with, every fungus, every yeast. It's really, really strong. Most times people don't recommend ingesting it because of how much it kills. It is definitely killing some of the good guys, but I'm in a war here. So a teaspoon of colloidal silver is what I started off at, and that was really it. I was also taking a teaspoon of Manuka honey, but that was pretty much it. And after about 4 days I think it was, I was like, man, I'm not feeling anything. And I'm one of those guys that likes to go balls to the walls, do it all. I can deal with a little bit of pain for a little while. So let me push the limits here and see what we need to do. So the very next thing that I did was introduced some Saccharomyces boulardii. This is Designs for Health. I've used this. I've used Florastor in the past, but Saccharomyces boulardii. I'm currently taking 2 capsules 2 times a day, which is basically 20 billion CFU 2 times a day. It's a yeast that doesn't get affected by antibiotics or other things like that. And it's really been proven in all kinds of studies to be effective against antibiotic-associated diarrhea or C. diff. So Saccharomyces boulardii has been really helpful. And then I brought out a bunch of herbs. So I have like 5 different tinctures here. If you have Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis, I highly, highly recommend you get the book Herbal Antibiotics by Stephen Harold Berner. It is fantastic. It totally opened my eyes to just how powerful herbs and medicine are from the natural world. I mean, God says, I give you every herb-yielding plant for medicine. And he wasn't kidding. And so Stephen lays out all these different properties of all these different herbs, and it's been really, really helpful for me. So the first one is astragalus. Astragalus is anti-inflammatory from the standpoint of it just calms down your immune system. So when your immune system gets all ramped up, it will create like T cells and B cells and all different kinds of things to go after and fight for you. It doesn't calm it down from the standpoint of not sending in the armies. It's still fighting for you, but in some way it calms down the inflammatory response. That way you're just not crazy. In my case, I didn't want to be going to the bathroom 15 times a day, so this has really helped make sure that doesn't happen. All right. Red root. This is really important for draining your lymphatic system. When you have dead tissue that the body has to get rid of, it drains through your lymphatic system. And so if you've ever had like painful swelling in your neck or in your groin area or under your arms, it's like a bump that hurts when you touch it. It's kind of tender. That's a lymph node that is swollen because your lymph system is processing dead tissue that is trying to get out of your body. This helps your body speed that process up so that way things are not caught in there longer, so that way it can get more dead tissue out of there faster and kind of increase the process. The next one is reishi. Reishi, I don't know how you pronounce it. It's a mushroom, but I take this to basically stimulate my immune system. So on the one hand, I'm calming down the inflammatory part, and I don't really know exactly how this works for different parts because I know inflammation is a good thing. I know it's your body's response to injury, but this has definitely calmed down the inflammation, while this has encouraged my immune system to keep working and keep fighting and work harder. It's like giving coffee to your guys, right? If you give your police force coffee, they're going to work harder. This is the coffee for my immune system. Licorice. Licorice does all kinds of things. It's called a symbiotic. It helps the other herbs work better. So I'm taking wild oil of oregano and stuff, and it helps those herbs do their job better. I don't know exactly the mechanisms behind it. It's in Stephen Hale's book. It's got all kinds of stuff, but basically it's going to help just help my system more fight with the different herbs and things that I'm taking. So licorice is meant anytime he basically recommends it anytime you're taking any sort of herb to kill off an infection, also take licorice, okay? And then finally, echinacea. Echinacea is an immune system stimulant. Same thing kind of like the reishi, get my immune system as strong as possible to keep me fighting and keep this going. So I added those in there. Now I have worked myself up to doing each one of those tinctures 3 times a day, along with 10 drops of wild oil of oregano 3 times a day, okay? Now on top of that, at the same time, those 3 times a day, I'm also taking 1 GI Microbe X. This stuff is fantastic for killing out the different bugs in your gut. Again, from Stephen Hale's book, some great drugs for, or not drugs, some great herbs for that are berberine. It's one of the strongest herbs there are to kill infection on contact, to kill microbes on contact. So berberine, black walnut, barberry extract, and sweet wormwood. Those are some really strong, powerful herbs to kill off stuff. I've used this in the past. It works fantastic. So I'm taking 1 of these 3 times a day with the oregano oil. And then monolaurin. Monolaurin is one of the main ingredients in coconut oil, and what it does is it breaks down biofilms. So bacteria are smart. They want to protect themselves, obviously. They don't want to die. Everything has this innate response to try to reproduce and stay around to survive. And so the bacteria create these things called biofilms. They're little protein shields around them. In order for antibiotics or herbs or anything else to kill the bacteria, it has to get into the cell and actually kill that cell with direct contact, okay? So in my digestive tract, if I swallow something, at some point it's going to come in contact with the things in there. If I swallow oregano oil, about 24 hours later, I can smell it in the toilet. So I know that has come in contact with everything in my gut. The problem is that if there's biofilms there, it doesn't come in contact with the bacteria as much as it does the biofilm. The monolaurin will wipe out the biofilms, making the other herbs that I'm doing, the antibiotics, the natural antibiotics like oregano oil and colloidal silver, that much stronger. They don't have to fight as hard, and also for my immune system to not have to go through the biofilms and then to the bacteria, just go straight into the bacteria. So the last thing that I'm doing is at night, along with my probiotics, I've been taking probiotics, that's not part of this new regimen, I added in SBI Protect. There is a bunch of clinical trials with this stuff. For a while, it was actually not allowed as a natural herb because the drug companies made it a pharmaceutical thing. If anything works too well, they make it a pharmaceutical, and they try to regulate it. But what this does is it binds with the toxins that are released in your gut. So a lot of people take like activated charcoal or diatomaceous earth or bentonite clay, and those things are great. I've used them in the past too, but this has been found, it's got immunoglobulins, like straight IgG. So when you have in your systems, like if you eat a food that your body doesn't work with, so like I can't have dairy right now or gluten, all right? So if I eat a piece of bread, my body sends IgG antibodies out to grab that and then secrete it out of my system, okay? This has straight immunoglobulins in it. So instead of your body having to secrete that stuff to grab those toxins and get rid of them, this just does it for you, all right? So instead of me having to have all this stuff that's in my digestive system, my immune system, working hard with all the things that it's doing, giving it one more job of, oh, by the way, all these toxins I'm introducing because I'm killing all this stuff in my gut right now, yeah, keep killing it and then also clean up their mess. I can send this in to clean up the mess, and it has substantially reduced the die-off. And when I introduced this a couple of days ago, it immediately helped with the form of my stools. Now I'm still having diarrhea, obviously, because I've got crazy massive infections, and I expect it's going to last a little while longer. But instead of it being, sorry, this is graphic, just water, there's a little bit of form to it, and it's not quite as bad. So that's what I'm doing right now. Again, all of the herbs, the oregano oil, and the monolaurin, and the GI Microbe X, I'm taking 3 times a day. The silver, I'm only taking once a day, and the SBI Protect, I'm taking once a day in the evening. All right, so it seems to be working great. Definitely not out of the woods yet. I got a long ways to go. I'm expecting to be on this protocol for probably 2 or 3 more weeks, maybe a month. Once things seem to subside a little bit, then I will reduce the herbs and increase probiotics, but we're not there yet. So anyways, thanks for the comments, all the well wishes. I've received a ton of support from a lot of you guys. Just telling me you're praying for me, you're encouraging me. I definitely feel it, and thank you very much. I know that this is temporary, that complete healing is around the corner. Just gotta do the stuff, the hard work to get there. So have a good one, guys. If you have any questions, leave a comment. Talk to you later.